This is the Epoch Times.
Welcome to Epoch Audio, showcasing the best journalism covering news, culture, and society, addressing issues overlooked or avoided by other media. For the text version of this and more articles providing truth, tradition, and hope, please go to theepochtimes.com.
No sign of terrorism in Rainbow Bridge explosion, says New York Governor, by Caden Pearson. The crash and explosion at a U.S.-Canadian border checkpoint at the Rainbow Bridge in Niagara Falls was not a terrorist attack, New York Governor Kathy Hochul said in an update on Wednesday evening. Ms. Hochul told reporters, "At this time, there's no indication of a terrorist attack. Let me repeat that. At this time, there's no indication of a terrorist-involved attack here at the Rainbow Bridge in western New York." 2 people were killed in the incident, including the driver of the vehicle, who was believed to be a resident of New York. The blast prompted the closure of several border crossings for hours. The governor couldn't confirm the origin of the vehicle, which was traveling at an extremely high speed before it crashed into a median at 11:27 a.m. on Wednesday and became airborne. The vehicle is suspected to have come from the vicinity of a casino. The governor said it's a Western New York resident who was most likely in that vicinity prior to the extraordinary high rate of speed that led to the crash into the median that sent the vehicle airborne. In an update later on Wednesday night, FBI Buffalo announced that it had concluded its investigation. The statement read, "A search of the scene revealed no explosive materials and no terrorism nexus was identified." The FBI turned the matter over to the Niagara Falls Police Department as a traffic investigation. Earlier, FBI Special Agent in Charge Matthew Miraglia said the agency didn't have any derogatory information on the driver, leading investigators from the Joint Terrorism Task Force to believe there are no indications of a threat of terrorism. Mr. Miraglia told reporters, "We're scanning his social media. There's nothing there. We're still running a full investigation, so that's a preliminary assessment. We feel at this point this might just be something that occurred. There's no larger picture here to look at for now." The car crashed into a U.S. Customs and Border Patrol booth and both immediately exploded. The governor said a Customs and Border Protection (CBP) worker inside the booth was injured and taken to a hospital. Ms. Hochul added that video footage of the crash, which has since been released by CBP, was surreal and hard to believe. She said, "I saw the video of an airborne vehicle that was absolutely surreal. You actually had to look at it and say, was this generated by AI? Because it was so surreal to see how high in the air this vehicle went, and then the crash and the explosion and the fire." CBP security camera footage showed the vehicle speeding through an intersection, hitting a low median before launching into the air just east of the main vehicle checkpoint. The car was airborne several meters before it crashed out of the camera's view. The vehicle was basically incinerated, leaving nothing left but the engine, not even a license plate, the governor added, noting that she had been briefed by the New York State Police and other law enforcement officials. The crash had created a large investigation scene that's going to take a lot of time for federal law enforcement partners to assess as they piece together the whole story. The Rainbow Bridge border crossing is one of the busiest crossing points both in New York and along the U.S.-Canadian border. The governor noted the incident raised alarms given its proximity to Thanksgiving and in the wake of the Hamas cross-border attack on Israel on October 7th, prompting authorities to spring into action. Earlier, Ms. Hochul directed the New York State Police, who are working with the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, to monitor all points of entry to New York. The governor, noting the anxiety the incident has caused, said that White House officials, FBI Director Christopher Wray, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, and state Congress members have contacted her office. She said, "That's why it's so important for me to stand here and tell the world, based on what we know at this moment, and again, anything can change, there is no sign of terrorist activity with respect to this crash." The FBI's Buffalo, New York office said earlier on Wednesday that it was investigating the crash and was coordinating with local officials. International flights arriving and departing from Buffalo Niagara International Airport, which the Federal Aviation Administration paused in the wake of the incident, have since resumed, the agency confirmed. Thanks for listening to Epoch Audio. This was "No Sign of Terrorism in Rainbow Bridge Explosion," says New York Governor. Written by Caden Pearson and read for you by Chris Rod.
For more Epoch Times articles in text, please visit theepochtimes.com.
This is the Epoch Times.